I think one of the things that we talked about that you said stood out to you actually was, we did a little study, and one of our analysts, Isaiah, went and broke down and recreated some research we'd seen in some other places, what people's net assets, net worth, net debt, or how much debt they had at the age of 30 by generation looked like.
I thought this was fascinating. This is one of my favorite graphs, Ruben and Isaiah. Thank you, Isaiah. The difference in where baby boomers and Gen X and millennials were at age 30. So baby boomers, average total assets, 147,000. Gen X at age 30, 214. Millennials, 219. So let's just pause for a second. So when Gen X and millennials look back at the good old days, and this is inflation adjusted, so this is in real dollars.
Yeah. This is all apples to apples.
They're all better off. So why are they buying their first homes at 40 when they're better off? That's the crazy thing to me.
They're better off everywhere than debt.
Exactly.
But
They got some debt.
Yeah, but that's credit card and mortgage, right?
Yeah, and Isaiah did a great job comparing this apples to apples, because what we figured was going to happen is that we would see a big discrepancy between income, and yet what we're seeing is that millennials make more money than the previous generations have.
We're all kind of saving similar amounts of money on net. But when you look at it, the difference between the generations really, it comes down to one, debt. So what that means is we're more highly leveraged, right? Which adds some fragility, right, to your financial state. Even though your net worth may be similar, if you're more leveraged, then, an economic downturn, you lose your job, it creates more turmoil in your life than it would otherwise, right?
Mm-hmm. So more than ever, millennials have mortgage, credit card debt, and student loan debt.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen student loan debt go to all-time highs again. Forbearance ended, and we've seen delinquencies tick up. So that's kind of adding some to the perception of kind of this more fragile state that some finances are in for the millennial generation. The other part of it is simply the fact that, we showed two other graphs that really showed over time what people's wealth, what kind of like how wealth between income groups was diverging in terms of how fast it was growing, and also just incomes in general were diverging over time. And that means like inside of each of those generations, the higher earners are getting further and further apart from the other groups by income in the generation. So you kind of get in a situation where the distance between kind of the haves and have-nots gets more defined. So you have larger portions of each generation that feel left behind, despite the fact that you see kind of on average, the average of the entire generation, things are getting better.
Of course, this goes without saying because we are in the real estate industry, yet the big difference was that those who earn more happen to have real estate as part of their savings rate and savings goal as well. They own houses.